to Crafting on the Plains. My name is Jacinta, and this is my channel, mostly about count and cross stitch, although I do occasionally share other crafty endeavors that I happen to be leading up to. Thank you so much for joining me, and Happy New Year. I have not been back. I don't think I've been back since the new year. So really excited about that. Maybe I made a video in the new year, my whip parade. I can't remember if my whip parade came out the end of 2025 or beginning of 2026, but either way, Happy New Year. Welcome if you're a new viewer or a returning viewer. I hope that the year of 2026 has been treating you well. I am going to just jump into it. Although I did want to say, I know some people may start watching me new. I got a few new subscribers after my whip parade, so I really appreciate that. So again, my name is Jacinta, and I live in Oklahoma with my daughter and my husband and our 2 cats. And I'm an attorney and a college professor. And this is my Flosstube where I talk about, like I said, mostly count and cross stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and show my first. I have a finish. It's not a fully finished, but I do have a finish. And this is one that you will have seen that I was going to start if you watch my Flossmas. However, I kind of let Flossmas go towards the end. I do apologize if you were keeping up with me and you missed seeing it, but I actually got sick the weekend before Christmas. So luckily I was not sick for Christmas, but the few days kind of ahead of Christmas, I started to feel sick. And I just did not want to risk being ill on Christmas. So I pretty much just stopped everything and just said, okay, I'm just going to rest. So this was my last Flossmas new start. And this was Peppermint Panda by Blue Flower. And this was a, sorry, it's not ironed because I had it in the hoop for a while because I was thinking about finishing it in the hoop and then decided not to. This was a Jingle Ball release, I think last year. Not 2025, but 2024. And I cannot find it on their website. So I'm not sure if it's just not out yet or if it was just completely an exclusive or what. I still need to trim some threads. This one I started, I think, the weekend before Christmas, and then I actually finished it like a couple days after Christmas. So super quick little stitch. So adorable. I did change a few flosses around based on what I had. And so, yeah, I just sort of used what I had, but I'm happy to share what I used for anyone who wants to know. But so cute. I really, really love this Peppermint Panda. And I think this one is going to be an ornament. I just need to decide how many. I think it's gonna be a round finish ornament. And this is stitched on a 32 count Under the Sea Fabrics in Georgia Peach. And oh my gosh, so cute. I'm just obsessed. Okay. I love red pandas. They're like my favorite animal. So yeah. And, we actually, before my daughter went back on, from winter break, we went to the zoo and we saw a red panda and I was so happy. So, yeah, love my red pandas. So I do want to get back into my finishing challenge. If you watched me last year, I did like a FFO kind of battle challenge thing, on my channel, and I want to get back into that. I think that's going to wait. I'm going to a retreat in March and I have got to get a wiggle on my retreat stitching, my just like gifts or table gifts. I just need to get retreat prepping. So I don't think I'm going to be doing a lot of FFOing. If the mood strikes and I just want to, then I will. But likely the FFO battle challenge, whatever you want to call it, will be after March. And if you are not familiar with that, what I did was I basically took 2 finished objects and had you guys, my viewers, my subscribers, vote on whether or which one you think I should do before the next video. So it was super fun, super motivating. Definitely want to get back into that, but I have some stuff I have to get done first. Okay, so I'm going to get now into sort of a new start, sort of not a new start. I know that's like a weird, vague thing, but I talked about in my whip parade that what I had decided to do was make I've been doing the Sprouting Lupine Nature's Journey, which is the year-long stitch along from 2025 in Just Cross Stitch magazine. So I've been doing that, and I decided because 2026 is going to be a whipping down year for me. I'm pretty sure. I'm not going on like an extreme like no start or anything like that. I have not started anything new really this year. And I will be starting something new probably in February for retreat stitch. And then I might do a new start in March, but I'm taking my stitches, my new starts slow and really focusing on getting progress on my whips. So what I decided to do, that way I could have the fun of a new year, new start without actually adding to my whip count, is I made the winter portion. I apologize, this is not ironed. My husband is sick today, and so I'm trying to stay out of that part of the house where he is and not bother him and not keep him awake and everything like that. So I did not want to traipse through and get all the iron and everything out. So it is what it is. But so I started the winter section as my new year, new start, and I'm going to work on the winter section until the spring equinox, and then I'm going to transition into working back on the spring section, and then so on and so forth through the whole year. And I'm hoping that I did not get this as a finish in 2025, obviously, but I'm hoping for maybe 2026 a finish. So I am trying to keep this out as a constant whip in the rotation. So y'all will probably see this every single Flosstube, just because I really am trying to work on it at least a couple days every week. So here's the whole thing. Let me fold this up so that way you can see the winter section a little bit more clearly. I will say this is the project I have had to rip out more than anything else. If you watched me last year, you'll know that my fall section was cursed. I had to rip out most of it. And now my winter section, it's not been going great. I mean, I haven't had to rip out as much as the fall. So here's winter right here. Well, it starts like here, I guess. And I haven't had to do as much ripping out. I did have to rip out all of this and restitch it at one point. I have started leaving in some errors. I've started leaving in some errors because I just can't. So this little, I think it's like a fern or something. The top of it is one stitch over because I made a mistake in counting, and I am just not dealing with it. I don't think there's anything I need to count off the top of this, and there should be plenty of like open space around it. So I'm just leaving it the way it is. It's going to be a little extra curly fern. And this moth, this color right here is actually supposed to be this color. And I accidentally did it the same as this one. And I was not ripping that out. So it's within the palette of the season. I think it looks fine. The moth is just going to be a little bit more high contrast than it was designed to be. But, and then I'm going to incorporate like these little parts were supposed to be in this color. So I'm going to switch it out. And I don't know that anybody who, unless you are also stitching this and paying close attention, would know that it's wrong. So yeah, this is slow progress. It's slow progress. But I'm working on it. I'm enjoying this project. It is not a slog. It's just a lot of very meticulous counting and a lot of color changes. And so it is slow. But you know, the seasons are slow. So it's a nice reflection, I think. So I'm trying to make this kind of a meditative project where I think about the seasons, and the changing of the seasons and all of that stuff, and like not stress so much about like productivity on this one. So doesn't always work, but that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to have a peaceful 2026. So, okay. That was my first, whip / sort of new start. The rest of these are all whips, and everything else. No, that's not true. I actually do have a new start. I'm such a liar. Okay. My new start, this one you will have seen, I believe, for my whip parade. So this one I started at the very end of 2025. And this is, I think it's called Red Cat Sleeping or something like that. It's by Q Patterns by Maria. And here we are. I'll post a picture of it because it's a digital pattern, but here we are on this one. So cute. And I've done quite a bit. I can't tell what percentage I'm at because the way this pattern went in Pattern Keeper, it like tripled it. So there was basically like a full page version and then a version with like no backstitch and then some other version. and I couldn't get it to just isolate one chart. So it like tripled, it put them together. So I think if I've done my math correctly, I'm about like 40%, which looks right, but I don't know. So yeah, here we are. I was also missing a few colors that I did pick up this weekend from Michael's when I was out of town. And so now I should have all the colors and be good to just go, because everything that's missing in the books, like this here, these missing stitches, all of that is just because I did not have the color. And so I did move up and start stitching on the really cute little kitty. And I did start the back stitching already. I kind of got stalled and couldn't do any more back stitching because I didn't have like all the colors I needed to stitch, but I do try to backstitch in sections on patterns like these, because I find that number one, then you're not waiting for it all till the end. And number two, I can more easily remember what symbols are what and where to put my back stitches when I've freshly stitched an area. So I'm hoping that the next thing I'll do is go back in and finish filling in this book, and then I'll just backstitch both books like completely, except for the very top part, and then I'll do the cat. So really, really enjoying that. And I am stitching this. I didn't tell you. As a note, I'm very bad at remembering to do the flosses and the linens. I don't know why. One of my goals for this year is to put a little card in each bag that has all that info, but I just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. This one, Nature's Journey, is stitched on a 32 count cobblestone by Atomic Ranch, and it's all the called for DMC. And this one is similarly all the called for DMC, and then it's stitched on a 32 count. It's the same as this one. It's a 32 count Georgia Peach by Under the Sea. I really like to do my pieces that are heavy with backstitch as 32s, just because I feel like the backstitch looks the best on there. And this one has no blends. I have noticed for Maria's like newer patterns, one that she's come out with in the last few years, they don't seem to have blends. The older ones do have blends, but these ones appear to not have blends. And she's even releasing some that are no backstitch. So if you like her style, but you're like scared of backstitch, you might look on her Etsy and see if there's some of the no backstitch ones that appeal to you. Personally, I love the backstitch. I love it. I don't even mind blends. So, but yeah. All right. My next projects are all whips. They're exclusively whips, and I'm just going to go through them kind of randomly. Okay, so these are whip go calls. I have 2 whip go boards this year that I am doing. I'm not going to in-depth explain that. If you want to hear more explanation, you can watch my whip parade. But basically, I have a focus project whip go board that only has 5 projects total on it, and those are my bigger projects that I want to make a lot of progress on. And then I have like my general whip go board that just has like everything else, pretty much just one time. So one of my whip go calls on my general whip go board was Go Tell It on the Mountain by Heartstrings Samplery. And this is a Christmas piece. So what I ended up doing was I made this my epiphany stitch. So I stitched on this, I think like the day before, a couple days surrounding Epiphany, basically. I didn't put like a ton of days on this. One of them, at least 1 or 2 of them were weekend days though. So that did mean that it had a lot of stitching. So I'm at about 80%, I want to say, on this now, which is really, really good. I am thinking that this will be potentially, I don't think it's on my whip go board again, so I think potentially this will be a Christmas in July finish. That would be amazing for this to be a Christmas in July finish. So here we are. It looks so good. This is on a Picture This Plus. I think it's Oaken, and it's a 36. I'm stitching this 1/2, which is not my normal, but I'm stitching it 1/2 on 36. I think it looks really good that way. And I did my own conversion mostly to color and cotton, but there's a few of the called for flosses I use a few things that I just sort of subbed. So if you're interested in my conversion, please message me, DM me on Instagram or email me, or just let me know, and I'm happy to like type it all up for you. But yeah, so this is like a custom conversion that I did, but I really like it. And yeah, I've just got a little bit to do. So I'm really, really happy with this one. And so I am counting this as a WIPGO completion for this month. So I am soaring through my January WIPGO goals, I will say. I don't know if this level of motivation will remain for the rest of the year, but for right now, I am really soaring through these goals. So the next WIPGO piece that I pulled, this was one of my focus board projects, was Mini Ravenkin, and this is by Heaven and Earth Designs. Sadly, this artist, which is Selena Fenich, I could be saying that wrong, she's no longer affiliated with Heaven and Earth Designs, so you cannot get her patterns anymore. I have some tangled park threads, so I'm trying to work those out before I show you the project. But okay, so this project, I'll post a picture of what it's going to look like. This project has been a bit of an ordeal. So I started this project in 2024, made tons of progress, quickly got like 2.5 pages done like it was nothing. Then 2025 hit, had some struggles, was doing a lot of confetti section. The section I was doing in 2025 was tons of confetti. Then I was going to make it a focus piece, 2025, like Giro d'Italia stitching, and my pattern keeper, my old tablet and pattern keeper died and lost all my progress. And I have not touched this piece since like early last year because I just did not have the wherewithal to remark it. I considered throwing it away, but I didn't. So here we are. This is where I am. I managed to not only mostly remark the piece, but also to make some progress. So I really wish I had taken a picture of where I was before when I started, because it's not really going to be evident like what I did. Well, maybe, I don't know. But I was so focused on remarking that I just forgot to take a picture. So in the future, I will try for my bigger projects like this to have before and after stuff. So here she is. So I will say some people gave me amazing tips for Pattern Keeper when I explained my woeful situation. One of the best tips I got was you can actually, if you like long press, like hold on a stitch, you can have the option of marking like all highlighted stitches on the page, all highlighted stitches in square. You can mark all the stitches on a page, and that really helped me like bulk mark quite a bit. So I know that like the first page is completely stitched. It is 100% stitched. The first page is done. So that was easy. The second page was a little bit more difficult because, as you can see, there are some carve outs. Like that is like the wing of something that didn't make sense to stitch. And then there are a few bits that I stitched into the next door page. So I think I eventually did get all of these completed, but it was a little bit of a challenge. I also discovered that I have some stitches. I don't even know if you can see because it's like white on white, but down here, it's still a little bit dicey as to whether everything is marked correctly. There. That's a really good image of it. Okay. But I'm probably like 98% there on this page. This page was the struggle. Okay. This page was the struggle. This is a lot of confetti stitching. This is the page I kind of got stuck on last year. This is a lot of confetti. Oh, you can still see my needle. So, this is like one of the crows and it's sitting on her shoulder. So cute. Well, and also spooky, but you know, and I eventually just did my best, like my best estimate to mark. And then I started stitching it. And like, as I would stitch, I was sort of like, oh, actually that stitch isn't stitched, or that color is actually stitched. And so I made adjustments to the marking as I went. And so I don't actually know how many stitches I truly did in this last session. I spent like a whole weekend on it. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before. I spent the entire weekend on this project. I don't know, again, if it said that I stitched like 300 something stitches, 400, almost 400 stitches that weekend, but I probably did not actually do that because I was also marking as stitched and also like marking as frogged different numbers of stitches as I was kind of like cleaning up the chart. Also, I'm sure that there are some errors. I'm just trying to do my best to make it as error-free as possible, and also like make sure that when you're looking at it, the overall look of the bird is correct, right? Like nothing looks, because there were a couple things that I stitched and then I was like, oh no, that was not correct. That's not there. And I had to pull it out and fix it. But there is an amount of trial and error that is just occurring on this piece. So according to Pattern Keeper, for this whole piece, I'm at like 29 point something percent. Again, I don't know how 100% accurate that is because there may be some stitches in here that I haven't marked, or some stitches that I have marked that need to be unmarked, and like whatever. But more or less, I'm like almost 30% is what I'm going to say. Maybe I'm at 30, maybe a little bit under 30. But here we are. So I'm happy with my progress. I did not get as much stitching done as I would like, of course, but now I feel like I'm at a point where I can actually pick it up and start stitching on it with less stress. And yes, I'm still going to have to fix some stuff, especially up in this part, but it's going to be way easier. I have been tempted to go over to this side because it's a 3 across. So this is actually page 4 right here, but I've been tempted to go on like over here and start the 3rd page in the row just so I can get some of this like tons and tons of like 310, because wow, it moves fast when you're doing rows and rows of 310. Confetti, not so much. So, but here it is. I'm very happy with it. And like I said, this will get called a total of 5 times this year. And so I am hoping to make some really good progress on it, and hopefully within the next few months get most of the marking situation sorted out. But I'm very proud of myself because there was a point last year where I thought this was going in the trash. And so the fact that it is not in the trash is an accomplishment at this point. My next WIPGO call is for my regular WIPGO board, and that is Halloween Tiny Town by Heart and Hand. So this is the piece. And, oh, I did not mention, of course, it's the first of the new year. I'm still getting into it. I did not mention my full coverage, my Heaven Earth Designs. This is on a 25 count even weave by Zweigart, I think antique white, and I'm stitching it 2/1 10th stitch. So this is my Halloween Tiny Town. This was my other regular WIPGO board call for this year. So here it is. And I am stitching this on a piece of fabric that is from like an Etsy store that no longer sells. So can't get it, unfortunately. And this is like my very last scrap of it. So I worked on this yesterday. I may go ahead and put some time in on this today as well, just to get a little bit more progress in before the end of the month. But I'm pretty proud of what I did. I had just part of the black of this house stitched and the door filled in, and I've done a whole lot here. So I'm really, really proud of this. This is a 32 count, and I'm doing 2/2 on 32. And this is a mix of some of the called for DMC, and then some of my own conversion. There's a few of the called for DMCs on these Heart and Hand patterns that I just don't love their DMC conversion. I don't know why. And so I kind of sub in whatever looks right to me. I am actually looking for this color right here. It's listed as Blackbird from Classic Colorworks, and I don't love, they're saying use 3371. I don't love that, but I can't find a good substitute. So I don't know. If you're stitching this, what are you using for Blackbird? Maybe I should just buy Blackbird. I don't know. All right. So here is where I was, or here's where I am. I did only spend one day on this, but it was a day. Today is January 20th. So yesterday was January 19th, and it was Martin Luther King Day. And so we had off of school and off of work and everything. And so I had more time than usual to stitch. I actually took my daughter to like an indoor play area and she played, and I just worked on crafts and knitted, and I stitched on this. So I did get like kind of the equivalent of a couple weekdays of stitching on her already. And so I'm kind of thinking that I might just call this good. And because I still have one more focus of go piece to work on as well. But here it is. It's so cute. I will say it's a little bit weird to stitch on Halloween in January, but at the same time, once I kind of got into it, I didn't feel demotivated or anything. So really cute. I will also say I've stitched one of these other tiny towns. I stitched Honey of a Tiny Town, and that one, I wouldn't say it was fast. But it wasn't a slow stitch. This one has a lot of detail. Like everything is a lot of different colors and a lot of different details. And so this one is definitely a lot slower than the other tiny town that I stitched before. So that is all that I have for stitching. I did want to do a little bit of a giveaway, just to say welcome back, Happy New Year, all of that. So this is a chart that I actually had as a giveaway last year, and the person who was the winner never claimed it, waited, and then I think got into different parts of the year and just kind of forgot about it. So I pulled it out, realized that no one ever claimed it, and I want to give it away today. So this is Mary Jane's Motifs from Leela's Studio. There we are. So if you would like to win this, if you want to just say New Year, then I will send this to you, because I just want to do a nice little giveaway to say welcome back and Happy New Year. I do have some knitting and some quilting, but I'm going to show that in a later episode, because I have to go run and get some other stuff done. I don't want this video to be too long, but I am just so happy to be back this year. I hope you guys are having a great 2026. I don't have any haul. I am kind of trying to reduce my haul as well this year as too. So I'm not a huge hauler. I usually don't have haul in my videos, but definitely don't expect to have a bunch of it this year. Probably when I go to retreat, there's a few events that I'll be buying for, but I really try not to just buy. I'm trying to not buy charts as much this year because I have quite a few charts that I have not stitched that I have in my stash. So that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for spending time with me. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing and liking this video. It does help me out and I really appreciate it. So that is it for this week, and I will see you in my next update. I hope in the meantime you get lots of crafting time in.